But I don't think we've ever.
In 511 pants for 15 years. They're stylish, they're tough, they're durable, and they're stretchy. Go to logo. Cut to logo.
Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry for a little bit longer break than we intended, but that's because I've got an impromptu but very special guest on here with me. We got Mallory over here on my left, but we got Dave Young from Armored Training over here on my right. Matt, of course, with Public Safety and Education, PS and Ed.
You got it.
And now host of the new Meet the Pressers podcast, which is really cool. And Dave Young, who's just a all-around studly guy, teaching like a madman a bunch of great courses here at the Concealed Carry Expo. So again, we're here on the floor at the 2019 USCCA show. We're thrilled to be here. But on my left and my right, I have two gentlemen who are experts where it comes to a lot of things, but we're going to specifically talk right now about the use of less lethal options, specifically OC spray, or pepper spray as people commonly know it. So Matt, you've been doing some certification courses while we've been here.
Yeah, we did basically effective use of pepper spray yesterday, a little 1-hour impromptu seminar, basically for anybody. We had 30-some-odd students in that, which was nice. And then today we did an actual 4-hour, and where they actually got certification. They got a certificate where they were able to get out there, do saber pepper spray, use some inert canisters, get off the X, laterally move, stuff like that to show them. And then videos, of course, showing people getting sprayed, because nobody would volunteer to get sprayed in the class. I mean, I really
should have called me.
You would have?
I would have done it for you.
I mean, when you've done it a few times, like, whatever.
So we were reduced to using videos, which was enough to make them realize they didn't want to be sprayed, though. Like we were talking about, they definitely need to have that exposure to be able to know what it's going to be like, because it's going to suck, and they need to fight through that suck. Yeah.
Now, Dave might be one of those lucky, few individuals in this world where pepper spray just doesn't really have much of an effect on them.
No, that's actually a lie. I've been contaminated probably over 300 times in 30 years, and we spray ourselves before lunch so the students get to see the decontamination, and then they're not afraid of it. You'll always experience the fogginess, the mental blurriness, the vision, the respiratory, but it's being able to understand that OC is the only non-lethal weapon that when you use it, you get it too.
Yeah.
You either get residual.
It's hard to escape that gas. So, just cross-contamination is a very real issue.
Well, I'd much rather be sprayed than hit with a taser. Taser's over with in 3 seconds. The pepper spray is a gift that keeps on giving all day, as a matter of fact.
Spicy treats.
So you'd rather be pepper sprayed than tased?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see. I love to be tased, man. I love the shock factor. 5 seconds, 50,000 volts.
I'll take a ride and be done for the day. Sure. So, Dave, you were talking actually before we got started here about how to deal with that issue, right? Like, what can we do to make sure we can still be effective in a fight?
This is a concealed carry conference, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to carry a firearm but haven't had the opportunity to draw it yet, you're going to have to work on protecting it. If you're sprayed and they advance on you, you're going to have to work on getting into a proper stance to shield your face, protect your firearm, do some movements. And the more you can move in a circular pattern, the less you're going to trip and run over things and won't run out in the street. But you're going to have to strobe your eyes when you're contaminated.
Right.
Strobing is the vigorous opening and closing of your eyes. And then you're going to have to work on controlling your breathing in through your mouth, and then exhale it through your nose to clear the mucous membrane. So you can actually not choke and vomit and start to really cough and gag. And you have to kind of incorporate that in the use of protecting your firearm. If you have to draw your weapon, how you're going to strobe your eyes, how you're going to engage verbally or physically. And tying that in together in that moment is kind of tough.
Definitely. Yeah, and in the academy, so I teach at the Academy, Law Enforcement Academy in New York, and one of the big things is having them fight through it. So they'll get sprayed, and then they have to go through and fight knee kicks at bags, and then actually come up to an individual that may have a cell phone, may have a blue gun or something to that extent, and they've got to force their eye open, and that's tough. I mean, for them to do
and
it.
recognize threat, no threat. Now what do I do?
Yeah, draw the firearm, drop the gun, drop the knife, whatever, and a lot of times mistaken identity happens, but that's they got to fight through it.
That's why that training's important.
Yeah, that cross contamination is no joke, and if you haven't been exposed to it, I had a police chief tell me one time he had one officer who constantly had the highest amount of exposures for taser for any perps in the field. And he turned around and asked her, have you ever been tased? And she's like, no, and I'm never going to be. He goes, your job depends on it. Yes, you will be. And she got tased and drastically dropped because now she knows what it feels like. She's using more verbal commands, trying to de-escalate the situation in other ways versus just automatically lighting people up.
Right.
So.
Absolutely, and that's becoming more and more of a thing right now. I mean, of course, there's been a number of these taser incidents where someone grabs a gun instead, thinking they're grabbing their taser, firing the gun instead of firing the taser. And there's obviously some things as far as gear setup and also training is just really huge there.
Yeah.
But it's a problem. We got to make sure that we're well trained when we're carrying these. Some of these less lethal tools.
Yeah, the non-lethals fit a very important role in a force continuum or use of force options. And you're more than likely probably going to get sprayed with pepper spray because there's no license to buy it. It's available pretty much anywhere. We teach a cover-up tactic in case somebody is sprayed so we can get out of dodge, escalate your level of force, or just escape the encounter. But until you're sprayed, you'll never know what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Right.
We used to do a test in the 90s. We'd show 5 recruits videos of people getting sprayed, dropping to the ground, ripping their shirts, yelling Stella, howling at the moon, being carried off in an ambulance. And then we show another group of officers, people getting sprayed, knee striking, commands, elbows, batons, handcuffing. And then we take all 10 people outside and spray the first one with an inert unit, and they would mimic what they saw, that placebo effect.
Yeah,
sure.
OC is one of the only non-lethal tools that creates more of a psychological atmosphere, and it's supported by the physics. You're coughing, you can't see, but the psychological aspects really have to be worked through, and it can, mentally can impair your physical ability to perform.
Yeah.
You hear people say, I can't breathe. Well, you're saying I can't breathe, which means you can breathe. And it's all psychological.
Yeah.
It's all mental. It's you're building that anxiety up yourself, and it's unpleasant.
Really, the anxiety, I think, is what gets people, because anxiety, it impairs people from being able to act and be able to pursue a course of action because they mentally shut down. So
yeah, the mental shutdown. You hear the condition black. Somebody shuts down and goes to, I call it the fetal position.
Yeah.
You're gonna, if you don't have the training, you're gonna sink to the safest place you felt in life, right? Otherwise, like we hear, you want to sink to the lowest level of training you have. So the more training you have, you sink to that and you revert to that training. Well, if you have no training or minimal training or crappy training, you're going to sink to the fetal position on the floor, rolled up in a ball with your thumb in your mouth because you mentally shut down completely and have no recourse to that dynamic critical incident.
Yeah. So, Dave, tell us a little bit about the seminar. I mean, we talked about you're doing some OC spray certifications and courses like that. What are some of the courses you're teaching here?
Yesterday we talked a handgun protection class, and we talked about people spitting tobacco juice, something they might use to close in distance. How do you manage distance, control positioning? What happens about shielding and guarding your weapon, managing that distance, verbally challenging somebody? What are some basic non-verbal indicators you might read that you're losing the ability to manage that contact? And then what happens when they grab your weapon? You got to do something. It's a trade-off in a fight, right?
Yeah.
So if you grab my weapon, I have an option of slapping you, stepping on your foot, kicking you in the groin. But those are all pain thresholds. What makes you look at me and become less important is if I deny you oxygen. So we impair your breathing. And when a person can't breathe, the person they're attacking really doesn't stay too important to them because the primal instinct is to breathe.
Yeah.
And then we taught our active shooter program, which, it countered a lot of the philosophies because we deal with statistics. You can run, hide, fight. The statistics don't support that. Yep. You can do the different programs that the statistics are written now from using those programs. And we gave them strategies that no matter what program they use, they can have some sub-skills to keep themselves safe, how to work as a team.
Yeah.
Then today we did a skill building class. Practice without training is a fool's bet. You come to a conference, you meet yourself, all these other trainers out here, and they don't practice anything. Yep. It's like if watching a Chinese Kung Fu movie and eating Chinese food made me Bruce Lee, I would have been Bruce Lee 10 times over. But you actually got to practice your skills. And everyone we met here, you guys do a tremendous service here. You allow some readers and viewers who can't get here to learn some of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Because everybody's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And just because it's on YouTube don't mean it's right.
Yep.
Just because it's on social media don't make it right. So you have to vet everything, find out what works for you, and then practice. And that's what we're hoping to instill is practice.
I don't know. Instructor Ken's pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's always one master.
Yeah. That's great. What do you guys have coming up in your future? I mean, let's hear. Actually, let's go to Matt.
Okay.
Like what's coming up in the next few months, few weeks? What's big for you?
Big. Working on some international curriculum.
Oh,
so, yeah,
nice.
International program, call it 3 steps behind, based off the senses, eyes and ears, goes to the brain. Brain cognitively thinks about the situation, tells your body what to do, so you're always 3 steps behind that other person, where you always hear somebody say, you can never draw a gun, your reaction's always going to be slower than their action kind of mindset.
Yep.
So it's based off of that you've got to see it and then process it and then actually respond. And if that other person's already intent to stab you, then they've already seen you, thought about doing it, and they're in motion, so you're ill prepared to respond to that. So you got to be ahead of the game, situation aware, paying attention to the situation, the indicators, pre-indicators, eyes are show intent, gateway to the soul, hands kill, bad things happen under the cloak of darkness. So using those tools to try to better yourself and have those tools to check what's going on beforehand before it actually hits you and hurt you. But that, and then teaching all over, teaching a multi-state Utah course all over the country, and working on a couple other curriculums and books and different things, taking it to the national level.
Jeez, yeah, Matt's working hard here. Dave, what's coming up for you, buddy?
I don't know if I can compete with that.
Trying to aspire.
We actually are going to Doha in June. They just got accepted to be the World Cup recipients for 2022.
Awesome.
So we're going there to meet and greet with them in July. We're seeing the training venues. They're building 8 more stadiums to match the 4 they have. They bought 15 trains, and they're building 3 train stations. So we're going to be doing a lot of the hands-on security for all the multi-teams that are going to be coming into the country.
That's really good.
So that's real exciting.
Yeah. And you said you didn't know if you could compete,
I know,
but
right?
that sounds pretty impressive.
You need help?
I will always accept help. And then the one thing that we were able to do is we tied in our qualification course. See, qualification courses are supposed to not validate your skill, but get you ready to have a gunfight.
Yeah.
And right now, if you look at statistics, our training curriculums aren't meeting that goal. You do pass a course, you can shoot a gun safely, but there's a difference between safety and survivability. Yeah. We want a course to show that you can win a gunfight from the holster, involving innocents in front of the bad guys. And so now we're able to take these courses and offer them nationally, because it doesn't matter if you're a firearm instructor from Officer A, you can still take our course and just use that course as your teaching principles. Yeah. Because every qualification course needs to let that person know that they can win a gunfight. Right now, most of them can just barely hit a target. And I think we have to change the mindset of what a qualification course is actually used for.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, exciting things coming from Matt, Mallory here, Dave Young. Guys, if you wanted to give a little shout out as far as where people can learn more about stuff you're working on, training programs, whatever. So where can they find you, Matt?
Sure. psanded.com, psanded.com, as well as make sure you check out Meet the Pressers on YouTube with Clint Macro from Trigger Pressers Union.
And Dave?
Well, you can go to VISTELAR, that's Vistelar.com. We cover everything from verbal, non-escalation, de-escalation, all the way up to active shooter and SWAT team entries. So you can sign up on our newsletter and get more information from us there. And then you can look at Arma Training for any of the YouTube videos. And we use the YouTube videos as an exchange of education. So feel free to look at the ones you want and feel free to comment away.
And that is Arma Training, ARMA training.us? .com. Okay, I want to make sure we got that clear too. Guys, great. Thanks so much for being up here on this broadcast stage with me for a little bit here. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back live in just a few minutes. Actually, no, we're going to take a little bit. We're going to take actually about a 30-minute break. I apologize. It's already 2 o'clock. So we'll take a little bit of a break. We'll be back in about 30 minutes with Chris Serino. Should be a good time. Stick around. Okay, we're off.
Hey, checking out my sweet pose? These bad boys, 5'11" ABR pros. Flexibility and comfort that just won't quit. They're Warriors pant, refined, with a straight fit. They pay tribute to their military roots. 9 pockets, plenty of stretch, and they still fit over these sweet boots. So my friend hit me up for a tow. I said, I got you, bro. I got a pair of ABR pros. So sit back and watch as a few tons of force are absorbed by this reinforced crotch. You may ask me, why use ABR Pro to tow this truck? Because 5'11" pants are strong as... Check that out. Totally knew it.